Sorry, 1 second, guys. I can't actually see the stream. I'm faffing around. Sorry, I was just reading comments on my videos. Hold on. My PC's already making noises. Probably because I haven't used it in the last couple of days. Hold on. Right, hello from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Hello, Glitch Dash. Hello, Kiko. Hello, Eliza. Hello, everyone. Hello. Only the boy has gone Dark Jedi with the black tea. Indeed, yeah. That's exactly. So glad I stumbled across this channel. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying it. Hello, Lulu Wagner. Right. Goodness me. Sorry, I obviously didn't go live yesterday, so I'm slightly out the swing of things. So give me a second. And my glasses are filthy. Hey, Chris. Work is slow, so I finally get to catch you live. Watch your streams. Nice. Yeah. It's a Boeing jet engine or my computer. I'll let you decide which one it is. Love the moustache. Thank you, Noor. Hope you're well. Chris will cry if you don't like the stream. Indeed, I will, Blanche. I'll be terribly upset. I heard that you had the same issue as me with watching Ahmed Fraud Mad Al-Khatib on his thing where they just got taken down for watching it. I heard you had a very similar problem. Apparently, so I've just seen some news that apparently Hamas have now taken weapons from, I don't know how true it is, but apparently Hamas have now taken weapons from the gangs that Israel has been arming, and they have used them against Israel. Can you show us your search bar history? I mean, why do you want to see my search bar history? Like, it's not that problematic. It's just, the only thing I would say is problematic is I just went on ChatGPT a second ago and I don't want to show you anything else on there, like my emails. There's nothing on there. It's not like you're going to find me, like, watching pornography or something. All right. The moustache is growing on me. Good, I'm glad to hear. Can you show us? But yeah, hello Shakespeare. Hope you're well. Yeah, all is well with me. Sorry, be a less of a busy stream. So Rami Abdu is making this claim. Let's have a look. Hebrew websites are reporting multiple attacks targeting the occupation forces in Gaza, coinciding with a Hamas-supporting website revealing... What do you think the Hamas-supporting website is? The BBC, according to the State of Israel. Chris, you're the goat, brother. Thank you. Chris is nofap confirmed. Yeah, how to increase... I actually don't... I don't even know what's on my history. Hold on. It's probably strange things. Because obviously I search things on my stream, so there's probably some quite funny things on here of me just like quickly trying to find something. There's Dr. Robotnik, then there's Blighttown Slug over and over again, and then there's Genius Bar Reservations. So yeah, I'm not showing it. Then I search slug over and over again. Wait, I'll show you. Look at this. I just searched rotten slug. Slugs Dark Souls 1. Slugs Dark Souls 1. So that's kind of what I've been searching if you wanted to see my search bar. Yeah, Hamas supporting outlets. I mean, this is Rami Abdu. Well, apparently, according to 50 members of Israel, of like the gangs that Israel backs, were killed by Hamas apparently, and then Israel carried out like a drone strike on Hamas. So this is according to this. Hamas has killed more than 50 members. There can't even be that many members alive. Weapons taken from Miss Rachel. Indeed, they took weapons. They took children's toys from Miss Rachel. At this point, Piers Morgan. I mean, Piers Morgan is more of just an Israeli mouthpiece. I genuinely think Piers Morgan is like just such a good propagandist for Israel, because every now and again he'll be like, Yes, I feel that, you know, Israel has done something that I don't agree with. I don't like this when Israel kills 50 million children in a day. And then the next day he'll just be like, yeah, I quite like it when Israel kills 50 million children because they're defeating Hamas. Hold on, I'm just going to post that I'm live, so you're going to see me record one, sorry, excuse me. Right, I'm just putting up a link, sorry. I wasn't muted unintentionally there. I was muted intentionally, so please, I hope none of you are posting about it in the chat, and if you are, there's going to be hell to pay. Let me see what I get on. No. I was muted intentionally. But yeah, so apparently 50 members of Yasser Abu Shabab's gang were killed by Hamas, so that was probably that's probably for the best. I mean, these people are fucking horrendous. Like, these are the people stealing aid, by the way. These are like people who just steal aid from Palestinians, you know. So I don't think you can say much good about them. We can also talk today about Greta Thunberg's base tour. In fact, I might add that to the title because it's actually just quite funny. There you go. Change the title even. Right. Funny. Sorry, you're probably going to hear me twice for a second. Can't hear anything. Yes, you can. World's smallest violin. Indeed. Yeah, it is world's smallest violin. Who cares? These people are stealing aid and they're being funded by Israel to sow chaos. Israel intentionally killed all of the police and they're killing civilian government officials in Gaza by claiming that they're Hamas. And the reason that they do this is because they can sow chaos and basically make life impossible at Gaza and then pretend that all of the aid's being stolen so they could set up this despicable aid organization, you know? Like, truly despicable what's going on. And the discourse on this has been so annoying. But yeah, this is it. The statement comes amid reports from Israeli media that the army... Yeah, like, Israel, by the way, literally bombed Hamas to assist this. To assist Israel killing... to assist these Israel-backed gangs stealing aid. Like, this is literally what they support. This is like what they are. I don't have enough to talk about this, but this is quite an important thing, and I think I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't. So there's currently something pretty big happening in Sudan and Libya. And look, I don't know enough about this. Yeah, I have a new mug. I have a new mug with Kafka on it, which says Kafka, Prague. It's very nice. It was a gift. My friend was recently in Prague and they just gave it to me. So, the family of the gang leader basically said they hate him. Yeah, I saw that. I mean, like, look, in every single context, there are collaborators. In South Africa, there was a Bantustan police force, people who are incentivized to do so. He probably has desires to even control it. Greta Thunberg, Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, more crimes, aid centers. What's the typo? Oh, Greta Thunberg. Thanks for the notification about that. Loads of my keys on my keyboard are broken and sometimes they repeat. So thanks for that. I wouldn't have noticed, and I'm not going to notice. You're probably going to hear me. But yeah, basically, this is... This is... it's not very Kafkaesque, the mug. But yeah, clip shows Haftar. So basically, the UAE's security forces, the UAE backs Haftar in Libya, Sisi in Egypt, the RSF in Sudan, and then they back the dictator in Tunisia, whose name I can't remember, the guy who just seized power. Well, he seized it a while ago now. Kais Saied is backed by the UAE. You can read it here. they back him, and they back all these people. And currently, in my understanding, now I'm no expert, and I meant to do some more reading on this, but as I've said, I'm quite busy the next 2 weeks, so I'm just going to be streaming. I'm just going to be streaming for like pretty sporadically. But anyway, basically they're linking up to fight against the Sudanese armed forces to basically try and institute the rapid support forces in Sudan, who are genocidal monsters. And so, yeah, the Sudanese armed forces aren't like saints or anything, and there are many criticisms that you could make of them. But I think that the other thing is no one is as bad as the RSF in terms of the crimes that they're committing against Sudanese people. Sorry, there's a video of someone. There's a video of something here. The UAE is consistent. Here you go. Here's Mohammed talking about it. This is a good account if you want information on Sudan. He runs something as well. Khartoum Kitchen. He's the co-founder of Khartoum Kitchen. So this guy's a great guy, and I'd highly recommend following him if you want better news about Sudan. But here he is. The UAE has consistently been using the pretext of fighting Islamism. By the way, this is also what it's done. So since 9/11, one of the things that the United Arab Emirates has consistently done is said that they are fighting extremism, Islamism, to bring themselves closer to the West, to align themselves with the who align themselves with the far right, basically, and get support. But yeah, this is just what they do. They claim they're fighting Islamism and just support the most despicable people in the world. What have I missed, King? You've missed fuck all. We've literally just started. Just looking over some Sudan basic stuff, talking about like how allegedly the gang that Israel is supporting in Gaza has been targeted by Hamas, and Hamas have allegedly used weapons that they've stolen from them, but I can't find the Hebrew media that's talking about that. I'm just going to have a look. Sorry, I was just looking at Ynet News. Literally just the maddest website. Like, look, here's an article, The Documents of Principle, who cares? It's about something to do with military conscription. Then it's just, it was crazy. Suddenly the hair grew. Ayala Lazur discovered the ancient world of hair oiling following her mother's cancer and is leading a trend. Like, what? You post normally about, like, killing Palestinians. Why are you posting? Actually, I guess you know what? I think that that's actually completely congruent with the kind of stuff they're up to. So there's a couple of things that we'll get into. There's actually some stuff to watch. Mohammed Abdal, yeah, he's good. He's a good guy. And on the topic of my keyboard, yeah, my keyboard's broken. I've had it for years. I've had my keyboard for years. Rip my PC. No, it's just whenever I go on an Israeli website. It is the Israeli Daily Mail. Well, that's Yedioth Aronoth, which is Yedioth. Because I was reading something recently that was like Ynet News is different to Yedioth Aronoth, but Yedioth Aronoth seems to be Ynet News, isn't it? Ynet News is Yedioth Aronoth. Yeah, it is Ynet, because someone was like, Ynet is one of the most widely read languages, widely read newspapers in Israel. So is Yedioth Aronoth, and it's just like, what? Your setup is falling apart. It's because I don't really have a proper setup, and because like I'm only just starting this, and you know, I'm trying to weigh up. Like I like making videos, and my recent video like about traveling Israel's done pretty well, and I think I could grow like a big YouTube platform from like streaming and stuff. But I like making videos, so yeah, I'm gonna continue making videos, but I'm not gonna be able to make one for a couple of weeks. I'm gonna make one about like, are Jews white colonizers? If Pegasus is on my devices, then they've seen some heinous and unbelievable things. They've seen me listening every single day to Strike a Blow on Tel Aviv. Every day at 5 p.m, getting ready before I stream, getting me G'd up to spew hatred about the state of Israel. Sorry, I just want to pull up. By the way, I kind of wanted to talk about this, and maybe I'll add it to the title. But I have so much I want to talk about. There's obviously, I think maybe I'll talk about this in a bit, talking about who are the Israel-backed militias? The Israel-backed militias are Yasser Abu Shabab's gang. So this was confirmed, but it had been talked about for ages. So the UN said that they were looting aid, undeniably, over a year ago they were talking about. No, in October last year, you can find it. UN... So this is the article. Gangs looting aid operate in areas under Israeli control. So here you go. So this is from November 2024. Here they are saying this Yasser Abu Shabab guy is the main and most influential stakeholder behind the systemic massive looting of aid. He has about 100 thugs who attack trucks bringing in food. And this is, by the way, the guy that Israel is sponsoring. Like, categorically, Israel is the guy that Israel sponsors him. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Finally had my last exam today, free to join Crisp Live. Congratulations, and you should be apologetic for missing my lives. You've missed out on finding out that Yasser Abu Shabab's gang has been killed. But basically, these guys operate under Israeli-controlled areas and steal the aid. Loads of people have been framing it in this way, and I agree with it. It's just a classical colonial tactic. It's a really, really, really important colonial tactic. By creating chaos and supporting different factions, you serve to basically undermine anything cohesive going on in Gaza. And basically, what Israel has been unable to break in Gaza is the social cohesiveness and the control by Hamas, and so Israel is now backing ISIS. The only problem is I can't see these people having any popular legitimacy, because whilst people love to fucking report on, like, oh, here's this protest. There are actually currently protests in Gaza against merchants for being complicit in what Israel is doing, basically. Case from genocide occurrence for. So the Hind Rajab Foundation just posted this, which is a cool update. Breaking: in a major development, Peru has officially transferred the case for genocidal crimes filed by the Hind Rajab Foundation to its human rights prosecutor. This is not a formality. This means that the crimes are under investigation. So they've been investigating this soldier. I can't remember his name. But this organisation is amazing, the Hind Rajab Foundation. They literally just go after Israeli soldiers around the world, trying to catch them. So they file legal complaints. Here's them filing it against an Israeli Air Force officer. Amazing stuff. It's amazing stuff. And they should do it. And they should be supported in what they're doing. Profiting from famine is good as behavior. Of course. But you have to think, during every single colonial situation, there were always people who collaborated. It's like it doesn't undermine it, but it's like, I guess, like, the best comparison, perhaps, in terms of one that is, like, most poignantly made by people, or, like, most prominently made, perhaps, rather than poignantly, because it's not that great a comparison. But things people talk about is they're like, well, Africans sold slaves. Like, there were loads of Africans who sold out other Africans, and it's like, yeah, of course there are greedy and immoral people who want to make money from things. Like, you shouldn't be that surprised by it. Like, it's not like, well done, welcome to capitalism or any society which moves towards it. There are always those who are willing to sell out others, you know. It's not like just because someone experiences colonization that it makes them perfect. But on the whole, you know, Palestinians have collaboratively rejected occupation. And I mean, one of the difficult things, and one of the things that, you know, often produces some of the most violent scenes that you see out of, like, someone being tortured by Hamas, or actually a lot of other Palestinian resistance groups, not just fucking Hamas, this is a long thing, is like during the first Intifada, the majority of Palestinians being killed were those accused of collaborating with Israel, because there was such a collective spirit that anyone who worked against it, they would do serious things against it. But yeah, I wanted to talk about this because this is just funny. So I guess we can talk about Zohran Mamdani, because obviously, yeah, I've said before, I think Zohran's dad is based, and I think, I don't know, we'll talk about the protesters against him quickly.
The Jewish people.
Not to mention the Western slave trade was done on a scale that was never seen before or done since. I mean, yeah, well, I guess if you talk about, like, the entire Western slave trade. But the thing is, like, the slave trade in the Gulf was pretty fucking big. And we also, I guess it's nowhere near the scale like what we see today in places like Dubai and stuff. And also, the way in which people are enslaved is different, and, like, the racial dynamic is different.
People continue to be.
If you guys keep donating, I'm going to build a supercomputer, and I'm going to use the supercomputer to send viruses to the state of Israel. I'm going to send emails to Netanyahu every day of just huge viruses that turn his computer into, like, I don't know, to play Hamas propaganda from Hamas.
Our own worst enemies. Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic candidate for NYC mayor, who refuses to recognize Israel as a Jewish state.
Shout out Zohran Mamdani for rejecting ethno-states.
Who supports BDS, who says that if he's elected New York City mayor, that he will arrest Bibi Netanyahu if he visits the U.S. Was just given a platform at B'nai Jeshurun Synagogue, one of the main synagogues in our city, on Sunday night. This isn't inclusivity. This is insanity. And what do you think that Mamdani did with the mic? Well, he doubled down.
I'm building a quantum supercomputer to harass Israel.
On his anti-Semitic stance, of course.
I'm gonna be using my quantum supercomputer to DDoS people.
In a synagogue. Take a look.
That is what brought me to support BDS. Now, to the question around...
Oh no, Jewish people, breaking news, Jewish people are not a monolith and hold different views. Not all of them are genocidal maniacs like you. Oh no! It's like, it's so pathetic, you know, like, allow Jewish people to hold different beliefs. If you were so, like, pro-Jewish people, why do you think they all just have to support your horrifying colonization?
Benjamin Netanyahu, I was asked what I would do after he had just been issued an arrest warrant by the International Court of Justice. My answer is the same whether we are speaking about Vladimir Putin or Netanyahu. I think that this should be a city in compliance with international law. There are some who may say that the United States is not a party to the International Criminal Court. And to that I say...
She's about to call this guy, like, anti-Semite of the year.
...that there are times when courage is required.
Supercomputer. Thank you so much, Eliza. Yeah, that's what it's going towards. Making us Brits look. I know that what I have done for relations. They're saying that I'm the best thing to happen since Lawrence of Arabia. Although he was not that great a guy, in my understanding. I'm no expert in Lawrence of Arabia, but thank you so much, Tom.
Required.
Just to be very, very clear. So, yes, you will continue to support the boycott of Israel if you are elected mayor.
Any of my actions moving forward as the mayor of New York City would not be in violation of any of those international laws and ensure that compliance is at the heart of it.
I want to know, why are we handing the stage to people who are pushing an anti-Israel agenda when we know that it contributes to the anti-Semitic violence that is exploding in our city?
Like, It's just like, I don't think you really care about anti-Semitic violence at all. I don't think you care. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm just going to get an even bigger fan in my computer just to annoy you guys even more. I'm just going to, instead of a computer, I'm just going to get a super fan. Like, that's it. Just, like, turn my whole room into one big fan so you can't even hear me over it, no matter how loud my voice may be.
Why are we Jews helping to elevate someone who is a danger to our safety and to our identity? I am begging you Jews to wake the F up. We need you to vote in the primary. Early voting starts on June 14th. Do not rank the terror-supporting Mamdani.
What's the cut there? What do you think she said?
14th. Do not rank the terror-supporting.
What do you think she said that needed to be cut there? I just put Lizzie Savetsky in Twitter, and she just came up with Lizzie Savetsky. It just came up with Lizzie Savetsky N-word. So I assume she's got some very powerful things to say. So Lizzie Savetsky's greatest moment is Lizzie Savetsky sharing this. So she shared a video of Kahana telling an audience that it is impossible for Israel and the Arabs to make peace diplomatically. If you're good to them, you're not good. You are weak, and if you are weak, you are dead, he says. And if you're strong, they listen to you. In a caption, Savetsky added, Rabbi Meir Kahana of blessed memory was labelled a violent extremist, but he was right. Like, I'm sorry, there is nothing that Zohran Mamdani, unless Zohran Mamdani was like, yeah, you know what, today I'm coming out and endorsing Adolf Hitler. There is no comparison. Or he shared a video of Hitler and he was like, yeah, Hitler was right about some things. Blessed is his memory. Should you be listening to this woman talk about him? Kahana literally tried to introduce bills that were basically just the Nuremberg law for Arabs. And she's here like, they're giving platform. Also, I'm noticing some problems on this stream. A lot of you seem to have forgotten how to like it or something. I don't know. Like, what's that all about? But yeah, like, and Lizzie Savetsky's husband said the N-word or something. I mean, she's not, but yeah, like, just, also, there's someone who became a member. Sorry, I need to respond to that. Thank you, Prevenda. Thank you very much for joining as a member. Shout out. Thank you for joining Kunzlaria. I was thinking, because I don't really have any plans, maybe I'll do, like, a Q&A or, like, a really small members-only stream at some point soon. I can't promise when, because... So next week I'm away, but I'll be back Friday, Saturday, Sunday for streaming. And then the week after I'm away, and I'll be back for Friday, Saturday, Sunday of streaming again. And then the week after I'll be back to normal of like Monday, Tuesday, then Thursday and potentially Friday. I never like the streams, just assume other people will do it. That's exactly your fucking problem. You assume that someone else will do it, and then you all forget to like the stream. You all forget to fucking like it, and then there are no likes. And then I have to go mental with it. Moustache Appreciation Super Chat. Thank you, Sunflower Dragon. The people are waking up. The people are waking up and understanding that the moustache is powerful. Thank you, Digital Pirate. Oh, wow. Now you're at Zaza Demon. Thank you so much. Yeah. I'll do it. Don't worry. I'll do it this month so all of the people who are members can see it. I'll do one where it's just like a much more intimate and you can ask me questions about like Palestine. No questions about the moustache though. Thank you. I don't need to vote, motherfuckers. Yeah, one like can make the difference. Every time that you don't like the stream, you double the number of people who hate you when they dislike the stream. So for all of you who forget to like the stream, you double the value of a dislike. Think about it like that, you know. But yeah, the post she predicted sparked a response that was instant, largely negative. So you do support Jewish terrorism after all, as long as the terrorist is Jewish, one commenter asked. No, just no, wrote another. But yeah, like, I think posting about, like, posting about this is kind of one of the most mental things that you can imagine. So here's the story about her husband. So, like, yeah. Right, so let's just look into this. Greetings from Mexico. Shout out Mexico. I like what you guys are doing. I've seen some great stuff going on with Mexicans in LA recently, and it's very much upset Asmongold, so that's funny. Assmold Gout, some of you have been calling him. Right, so Lizzie Savetsky is she's having a very good year. So she was at Trump's inauguration. Like, by the way, like, Trump's inauguration, think about all the association. Trump had dinner with Nick Fuentes. Like, I'm sorry, you're like, Zohran Mamdani is talking in a synagogue, and I don't like that, and that's bigoted, and Jewish people are killing themselves by allowing this to happen. And it's just like, what are you talking about? Like, it's ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. But yeah. But yeah, like, it's just ridiculous. But then, like, let's look at her story. So she debuted a line of children's swimsuits modeled by... That's weird, you know. That is really weird. Like, using your own kids as models of swimsuits. And still found time to vacation in Miami, documenting every moment for her 412,000 Instagram followers. Can you imagine I just, like, posted on Instagram, like, hey guys, I'm in Miami on, like, a trip away. I'm experiencing such difficult racism against me, but now I'm in, what's it called? Now I'm in, whatever it's called. American Chris only 30 minutes into the stream. She somehow did all of this while also fending off the masked jihadists infiltrating Columbia University, championing Israel's seven-front existential battle for existence, and taking on the Jewish people's most dangerous foes, Chuck Schumer and rabbis who oppose the ethnic cleansing of Gaza, #blessed. So, she found her way to Orthodox Judaism after she met plastic surgeon Ira Savetsky. So she was cast in season 14 of Housewives, but there was basically a problem. She said the decision stemmed from a wave of anti-Semitic abuse she received following the casting news, apparently being expelled. This video is also funny as fuck. I hope it loads it.
Show us your faces!
I can't play it because it's got fucking music on, but it's just her like screaming at people going, show us your faces! Show us your faces! Yeah, I'm about to, her and Ethan Klein are about to do a stream together where they tell me that I'm not allowed to, that I've been calling CPS on her. This is probably, Ethan Klein would probably endorse her if she said Hassan Piker was a terrorist. Oh yeah, sorry, here we go. But several other sources reported that tensions arose after another cast member asked Savetsky, who was known for her matchmaking skills, to set her up with a Jewish man. Savetsky reportedly declined, explaining she only matches Jews with other Jews to preserve Jewish continuity. The conversation escalated, eventually leading to Savetsky's husband using a racial slur in a phone conversation with producers. Though he apologizes, the situation apparently led to his wife's exit from the show. So apparently her husband, you know, the woman who's so worried about Zohran Mamdani fucking saying anything and being allowed to talk at a synagogue, is you know, just using racial slurs. Her and her husband are just doing racial slurs. It's an interesting world, you know. It's an interesting world in which we live, when ostensibly it's, yeah, where this is someone who's apparently a good source on what's going on. Sorry, there was something that I wanted to talk about as well quickly, but she's not exactly, you know, now I'm searching. No. So someone explained this to me. There is, with some, like this thing, basically the reason that people are wanting to preserve continuity is because there's a lot of fear involving, like, after the Holocaust, that Jewish people will die out, basically. So, you know.
Have been a couple of months ago.
So we've got this video of Trump.
Something happened to them, but I am much less confident of a deal being made. I would have said a deal would be made. Maybe they don't want to make a deal.
Do you chew gum? It's nicotine gum. It's ice cool.
Can I say? And maybe they do.
So what does that mean?
There's nothing final.
What happens then?
Well, if they don't make a deal, they're not going to have a nuclear weapon.
Right.
If they do make a deal, they're not going to have a nuclear weapon too, you know, but they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. So it's not going to matter from that standpoint, but it would be nicer to do it without warfare, without people dying.
Yeah.
It's so much nicer to do it. But I don't think I see the same level of enthusiasm for them to make a deal. I think I think they would make a mistake, but we'll see. I guess time will tell. I'm less.
I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous. It's just fucking ridiculous. Like, this guy, like, talking about, well, Trump talking about potentially just going to war with Iran, but who fucking knows? Who fucking knows? Who fucking knows what the outcome will actually be? Honestly, who knows? I mean, it's what Netanyahu wants, but I don't think there's all that much support for it. I just don't think there's all that much support for going to war, but who knows? Who knows? Who actually knows? It's hard to know. There could be anything. But it's, like, look, who knows? Who knows how to predict it? The man is senile. The man is senile. The man is as senile as Biden. No, actually, that's a high level. That's a statement I retract. Trump is becoming as senile, you know. There was a video of him. There's a video of him falling on Air Force One, and I don't know if people remembered that. So Trump slipped on Air Force One, and I probably wouldn't read too much into this, but, like, honestly, I know it's worse when Biden does it, but, like, you have to be frank here. Like, Trump is like near 80 years old. He barely exercises. He eats shit all day. He only drinks Diet Coke. So who fucking knows? Who fucking knows? This is like, I think, you know what? There could well be war with Iran. There also could not be war with Iran. Who knows? Israel... For the longest time, Iran has been the problem because it doesn't agree with the state of Israel. It's powerful and it remains a blockade to America having full dominance over the Middle East. But at the same time, I don't know if that's plausible. But now I think it's time that I want to move on to a topic that is slightly more interesting, which is the UK has now sanctioned some significant Israeli officials. For the first time, cabinet ministers from Israel are now being sanctioned. I just want to see if I can find... So here is David Lammy, enthusiastic supporter of genocide, bit of a weirdo, who's a particularly condescending, horrible individual.
Talking about sanctions, I'm talking about asset freezing. Today, talking about sanctions, I'm talking about asset freezes, I'm talking about travel bans of these two particular ministers, Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, who have been inciting violence against Palestinian people.
It's really funny because if that's your justification for sanctioning, like, sanctioning Israeli leaders, inciting violence against Palestinians, right? Like, every single Israeli leader should be sanctioned. Every single Israeli politician, pretty much all of Israeli society should be sanctioned.
When the UK says we are against something, we absolutely expect the government to condemn it and for it to stop. It hasn't stopped, and that's why we're acting with Australia, Canada, New Zealand and Norway today.
It's also such a, like, minor step, like, literally targeting some of the most significant individuals who've already inflicted so much damage, and all you can basically do is sanction a couple of their leaders after they've done all these things. Like, what's the fucking point, you know? And it's just... And I spoke about this in my video. Like, when you're talking about just him... when you are talking about just sanctioning these people, you individualize a problem. You individualize a problem of, like... that's societal in Israel. As I've mentioned before, 2 members of the Israeli Supreme Court are settlers. The deputy president literally lives in the West Bank. And arms embargo worldwide. Yeah, that's a reasonable step. It's like, when we are against something, we expect it to stop. I was literally just reading Brzezinski. I think that's how you say it. Zbigniew Brzezinski. I'm just going to pull it up because maybe one of you, at least a couple of you in here are Polish, so you'll probably kill me. I think Zbigniew Brzezinski is Polish. Zbigniew Brzezinski? Anyway, he was writing about how settlements are the main obstacle to peace, and that if America was to actually take action and put its money where its mouth is, you could probably convince Israel to do things. But until they start doing that, until you undermine the fundamental relationship of, hey, here's unlimited weapons, here's all of these things, it's like, yeah, are they not all? Well, you could classify them all as settlers, and I think it would be right to do so. Like, settlers stole indigenous Palestinians' land. But, I mean, literally here, we are talking about the category of a settler who lives in the West Bank, which is illegal under international law. So under international law, you can unequivocally say that the state of Israel, that the West Bank occupation and all of these things are totally illegal. And so that's what we're talking about here. But yeah, it's just fucking ridiculous. It's just fucking ridiculous. And now we've got, you can click on the audio icon. Oh, I could have clicked on the audio icon. Not the best pronunciation I've heard, but not bad. Zbigniew Brzezinski would be the closest to how we pronounce it. Brzezinski. Okay, cool. I'm going to tell the Ukrainians the truth. But yeah, like, yeah, it's also... Treasure Trove Tales makes a good point. Netanyahu is wanted by the ICC, and it's like, now you're like, I'm going to do some sanctions on a couple of people, and it's like, okay, but you won't condemn the fact that they are... So, Ben-Gvir controls Israel's prison system, so he's the one responsible for making it into an even worse rape and torture dungeon. Like, categorically, that's Ben-Gvir's what he's done. Like, he has done these things. And, and fucking Smotrich controls the economy, and he has used this to embolden the settler movement, to enable Israel to do genocide and all of these things. So why the fuck are you sat here sanctioning them now? Like... Why aren't you sanctioning Israel, the entire state? Like, sanctions on individuals are not fucking good enough, you know? But I think we've got a very funny Nigel Farage GB News. I'm sure there's some absolute gold in here. Sorry, I fucked up and now I accidentally turned my stream off, so I need to get that back. One second, guys, sorry. I can't see your chats by accident. Polaki Unite. Yeah, this stream is pro-Poland. So Nigel Farage had a conversation with Sipi Hotovely, who is our Israeli ambassador in the UK. But yeah.
Today we are announcing sanctions against those individuals because that we've seen in the West Bank particularly is entirely unacceptable.
Wait, what does he say here?
Stop. That we've seen in the West Bank particularly, and the settler violence that we've seen in the West Bank particularly.
I think the settler violence in the I think the settler violence is actually worse in the Gaza Strip.
Is entirely unacceptable and must stop.
So the result of this is that Itamar Ben-Gvir,
Itamar,
the security minister, cabinet minister, Israeli cabinet minister, and Bezalel Smotrich, the finance minister,
Bezalel Smotrich,
will both have any assets they've got in the UK frozen and been banned from entering the United Kingdom. It's also interesting to hear David Lammy there effectively talking about a two-state solution. I'm joined in the studio by Sipi Hotovely, the Israeli ambassador to the United Kingdom.
She's such a funny-looking person.
Good evening, Nigel.
Good evening. Israel's running out of friends, isn't it?
Actually, our friends need to choose whether they're going to be in the right side of history or in the wrong side of history. There are only two sides in this story. Hamas, who's a jihad
Hamas
terrorist, want to commit a genocide to the Israeli people on the 7th of October.
They wanted to commit a genocide. It's so funny that the definition of genocide for people like this is every Palestinian must be killed. But in the case of, October the 7th, 1,000 people, yeah. That's enough to say that they want to do genocide,
And a democratic country trying to defend itself. Now, you tell me which side you need to choose in this war and in this battle. I think it's quite easy.
I don't for one minute not support the idea that what happened on the 7th of October was an absolute barbarity, and you know jolly well I've said that from day one.
You know jolly well that I've condemned October the 7th. Oh, gosh.
The difficulty is, and I know the BBC have been accused of accepting Hamas propaganda. But
the BBC are literally a pro-Israel organisation. Categorically, the BBC are a pro-Israel organisation. That's not an outrageous thing to say.
Looks like, and I don't know whether you agree with these figures, but something like 50,000 Palestinians have been killed since the 7th of October. It's a lot of people.
Well, first of all, in war, people die. The only question is who's in charge of the fact that innocent people die in the Gaza war? And the answer is Hamas. They created this infrastructure. We just heard last week that Mohammed Sinwar was killed.
So maybe we should talk about this, because what the IOF is saying is, even in the video they uploaded, basically there's a tunnel system which runs underneath, not a command center as they claimed, and it doesn't say actually specifically where Sinwar was killed. But even look at this. So Israel was accused of editing videos, and then they posted this. So this is the one that's allegedly unedited, which Preston Stewart, who's like a military expert, this is where they make British people. Where is this where they make British people? What, GB News? That's Nigel fucking Farage. He's like the leader of the most right-wing party in the UK. Well, that's significant in the UK. But here it is, look, this is their video. It still has fucking cuts in. Why does this... So this is the video, allegedly under the hospital. Why is it not one video? Why is it not one video? Why can't they just upload one video without cuts in? Why is this always a thing? What is this? And someone made the argument, this is the most densely populated area in one of the most densely populated places, probably currently the most densely populated place on Earth. But like, look at this. Why is there a cut? Like, why is there still a cut in this video? And then another. They cannot, for the life of them, post one singular video that makes the proof of this, that shows exactly what happens. Like, look, if you're talking about a tunnel system running underneath, that is so different to the claim that there was a Hamas command and control center underneath there. And I'm sorry for putting Farage and Hotaveli, but I'm sure that there's some absolute gold in this video. I haven't watched it yet, but yeah. Because this is the original video that they uploaded. And there's this fucking guy who I hate so much called Preston Stewart on TikTok. He has a YouTube channel. And he's like, I don't talk about politics. I just talk about the military. I love the military. And he was like, so Israel, they've been accused of uploading fake tunnel footage. But now, here you go, look.
So Israel just released this clip showing some maps. And
how does Hassan get this to go full screen?
3D renderings alongside actual footage of the tunnel, Hamas tunnel under showed the bodies. They here. So directly underneath, kind of running under, we haven't done that in the past, but we're not going to show that here. So directly underneath, kind of running underneath the hospital. What I've not seen yet is if there's an entrance or an exit inside of, now I got to cut that part out. Okay, we'll keep a part of this here.
This isn't actually the one I was hoping for, because there was one. Yeah, here you go.
So Israel just released this footage showing a Hamas tunnel network
like, this guy's just a straight up
underneath the European
propagandist
hospital in Gaza. But people immediately said, no, this is fake for two reasons. One, nobody can go up and down that ventilation shaft right there. Who can get in and out of that entrance point if it was? Also, that jump cut, people said that means that this is edited. You can't take it at face value. So that weapon probably staged, all that stuff. Uncut drone shot from right outside.
And then look at this,
an uncut.
And then he claims this is uncut. It's not uncut. Like, Israel, for the life of them, cannot tell the truth. Israel just cannot do it. It's impossible for them.
Underground of the European hospital. The taxpayers, the European taxpayers sponsor this, so Hamas can build this underground tunnel city and hurt Israeli civilians and kidnap our hospitals.
How does the tunnel system hurt Israeli civilians? Because Israel is the one killing en masse Palestinians. They have a weather report on GB News. Wow. Okay, so this isn't that long, thankfully.
You met Emily Damari. You know exactly what
I campaigned for Emily Damari. Very much.
Yeah, true. I haven't done my 50-second condemnation. No, my 2-hour condemnation of October the 7th today. I normally wake up and do it, but I forgot.
Much so. But when you get...
Well, it's very easy to just shit out videos when you're just like, okay, today Israel did the good. Israel did good things. Israel did good things.
An Israeli cabinet minister talking about aid going into Gaza, saying not even a grain of wheat should get in. You can see why the international community struggles.
Well, are you quoting now Smotrich?
I am.
Okay, so let me speak about sanctioning our ministers. This is a wrong moral decision of the British government. This will go down...
This is a wrong moral decision of the UK government.
On history as the first time that a democratic country is sanctioning ministers of another ally, another democratic country. Now, let me quote to you a person that is not supporting Smotrich or Ben-Gvir, is one of the prominent leaders of the opposition in Israel. His name is Benny and he said today on Twitter as a reaction, sanctions on ministers in one and only democratic state in the Middle East, the state of...
You know what, as well? It shouldn't be the only democratic state in the Middle East, because Egypt could have been if the West was interested in protecting it. But also, the other thing is Tunisia was democratic for a while. It's not like this is some magical thing. And by the way, I mean, actually, you know what? Because democracy is so premised on... because Israeli democracy is so premised on excluding Palestinians, it's not really surprising that people consider it as a democracy when, you know, America was premised on not having women or slaves voting for the longest time.
Israel is a profound moral mistake and sends a dangerous message to the terrorists of Hamas. This is Benny Gantz. So this is something that among all the Israelis, everyone is looking at the UK government now and are saying, Are they estimating the judgment of the Israeli people when they go and vote in election?
Well,
do they actually say the Israeli people don't know what they're doing? The people of Israel know what they're doing.
But it's political pressure, and actually the French government is potentially going even further, isn't it? I mean, there's talk of recognition of a state of Palestine coming up very, very soon, and you can see the British government's position is changing pretty quickly.
Let me tell you a word about this initiative.
Yeah.
I think...
Also, sorry, on the topic of Benny Gantz, it just shows you that there's no left wing in Israel. If he's a key leader of, like, he was once centre-left, and now he just, like, endorses the settlements and all of these things. Like, Israel is just the most deeply racist society imaginable.
Nothing can be more morally wrong than recognizing a Palestinian state after the massacre of the 7th of October.
But these people, Sibi Ottaveli rejected a Palestinian state before October the 7th. The UK allegedly supports a Palestinian state. And this is the woman that's their ambassador to our country. She actively doesn't believe in a Palestinian state. It's so fucking funny.
What does it actually mean to recognize a Palestinian? Maybe people don't understand what it means. It basically means to recognize Hamas state. It doesn't mean anything else.
Hamas state.
If someone here wants to come and give me the argument that they want to have a better future, both to Palestinians and Israelis, please explain how another Hamas state, like we had in Gaza, the one that committed this horrific massacre, the 7th of October, will bring a better future either to Israelis or Palestinians. Now, I think the international community here should stand and say, Hamas shouldn't be part of the game. I mean, I've seen the UN resolution they're discussing now in New York. Do you know how outrageous it is? We're talking about a decision.
Well, this is back to my first question to you. I said to you, Israel's running out of friends, and that is the reality, isn't it?
But I think the question is about our friends. Do they actually want to stand and be judged in the history?
Is the British government, do you view the British government still being genuine friends and allies of Israel?
I believe the UK is Israel's friend, and I believe the British people are Israel's friend. I believe the British government at the moment gave few decisions that the Israeli people are furious about. Just today I heard our foreign minister saying the sanctioning our ministers is outrageous, and this is something we cannot tolerate from a democratic country.
Which shows a deterioration of relations, and that is because people are horrified by the casualty statistics. It's as simple as that.
It's not even just the number of casualties, it's that what Israel is actively doing. How are you to have cultural revolution or elections of any kind of civil cult where you're getting wiped? I mean, indeed, but also Hamas's appeal is based on a status quo in which Palestinians are not given anything good. Like, Palestinians are not given any form of state. And when they do accede, when they do take peaceful means, nothing happens. Like, literally nothing happens. Like, that's the thing.
I beg to differ. I think this is not the reason. I think it's from domestic politics. This is the only thing that counts, I think. And actually, if you see the big picture is that Israel is very close to a ceasefire. The Witkoff, the American envoy, that has been trying to work on this framework. According to the British government interests, that they want to have a ceasefire, all they need is to be a little bit patient. And patience is a good thing to advise to all the Western leaders.
But how do you have a ceasefire effectively with Hamas? You can't, can you?
Of course not. The whole idea of this offer...
Look how literally gleeful she is. Like, literally, look how gleeful she is.
...that we are offering is to make sure Hamas won't control the Gaza Strip, that the Gaza Strip will be demilitarized, our hostages will be released, and we still have 20 people still alive in Gaza. We have 55 hostages. We need to have them back, and the international community should come and support Israel. I'm saying again, all those countries today that were lining up with the UK to say Israel needs to be under pressure, they're just encouraging Hamas. They're delivering the wrong message to get their own interest.
Well, you may be right, but I'm afraid there's a lot of Western countries not supporting you as much.
You may be right!
What would you...
She's not high. She's just a big fan of genocide. Like, genuinely, she's just a big fan of genocide. Like, she is a really crazy individual. But, like, look at this. Like, oh, yeah, let's put sanctions on Ben-Gvir and Smotrich. Oh, that's going to do loads. Like, great. Like, sanction these heinous people. But she's still our fucking ambassador from the country.
Well, in an ideal world, what would happen?
In our ideal world, the world will give Israel the time to finish the job. And finish the job means to make sure that Gaza won't be under this horrendous regime of Hamas.
And how
Everyone agrees, by the way. You don't see even one leader that says Hamas should control the Gaza Strip.
How many civilian casualties will that take?
Can I ask you a question, Nigel? We were hosting in September a very, very significant general coming from the British Army.
It's fucking Colonel Kemp. It's that idiot who did a PragerU video.
I hope I pronounce
Hello, Tony Soprano lover.
his name right. His name is General John McCone. And he was a very senior, prominent person in NATO. And he came to Israel to check how Israel operates on the ground. And you know what he
Genocidal Piggy says, yes, 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 I love it when you do genocide.
realized? He said, I came very skeptic because I saw the news, I saw the BBC, I saw everyone is speaking about so many casualties. But in the end of the day, I saw Israel is operating. Israel is very cautious. Israel is working, believe me, I have those conversations with all my team, with our defense attaché, with all the people that we work with. When Israel is targeting a target, it's a military target or a...
Israel has literally massacred so many people just trying to get aid. A bigger fan than the one that needs... Indeed.
Dual use target that Hamas is abusing schools and hospitals and turning them into headquarters. And this is where we come into a statistic that most of the military experts will say Israel is doing much better than other Western armies. And this is just the latest.
It's an argument. You're going to...
You know what's actually mad is Israel did worse than every faction in the Syrian civil war at not killing just children. It's really impressive.
Need to keep making, because as I said, for the third time I'll say it, Israel is running out of friends. Ambassador,
I hope you're still...
I love how this is all he can say, just Israel is running out of friends over and over again. He has nothing more of substance to say.
Our friends.
Thank you. Of course. Thank you
you
for joining me on the programme. In a moment, jobs are being lost in all sectors, but...
You know what? I'm glad I stopped smoking cigarettes so I don't end up like Nigel Farage. They murder people and go, well, they are evil. Do we live in a fairy tale world? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like kill someone, then establish that they're guilty. But also establish that they're guilty by just calling everyone there not innocent. I mean, we'll stick on this and then we've got a Haaretz article to go through. But it's really comical because there's so much funny discourse about this yesterday. So here's the Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem, Fleur Hassan Nahum, talking about this.
Some ministers that rather wouldn't be there, the UK included. Everybody had to stand Corbyn's anti-Semitism, anti-Israel bias. Israel never sanctioned Corbyn. And
Israel never sanctioned Corbyn. Is Overzealots here? Overzealots, I need to get back to you. Hello, shout out Overzealots, brilliant content creator.
So again,
everyone go follow him if you're not.
It seems performative and double standards. But ultimately, you have people in the UK, in your parliament, saying horrible things about Israel, horrible things about Jews.
They're being mean. They're being mean about the state of Israel for doing genocide. They say horrible things.
Every day. You've got 4 members of parliament that were elected on a jihad.
You know what? I tend to agree with you that until US is no longer their friend, but if you had major pressure from European countries, I'm sorry, I think things would change. If all of Europe was incredibly united in, hey, we are actually going to enforce these arrest warrants, no more trade with Israel, no more nothing, that would be a major hit, because even if America is still its major backer, if Europe took a serious stand...
The agenda. You've got demonstrations every single...
Oh yeah, listen to this part, is hilarious.
...the parliament that were elected in Israel. Horrible things about Jews every day. You've got 4 members of parliament that were elected on a jihadi agenda. You've got demonstrations.
Elected on a jihadi agenda.
Every single week with people shouting, kill the Jews and gas the Jews.
This is just not true. This is just not true. I hope you all heard what she said. She said every single week there are people chanting, kill the Jews and gas the Jews. It's not true. I don't think there's any example of that in the UK.
And this is what the British government decides to deal with. It just seems, again, double standards and hypocritical.
I should point out, Fleur, that Jeremy Corbyn has firmly denied claims that he personally has been anti-Semitic at any point.
I think we all know what Corbyn's opinions are, and the Labour Party...
Why is Corbyn anti-Semitic?
...knew when they kicked him out what his opinions are.
Yeah, he was against the state of Israel, which is a good and moral and just thing. And Corbyn has been proved to be the actual correct person. We have all of these governments who are now like in the UK. Well, actually, no. I think it's bad that Israel is doing bad things. And it's just like, well, Corbyn said that years ago, and wanted that to stop. And it was the same kind of shit then, just on a smaller scale in terms of everything.
They knew how they treated Jews within the Labour Party, because many Jews left the Labour Party because they didn't feel comfortable how they were being treated. And so, we can...
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's a video of people chanting heinous things, but every single week,
obfuscate and say that he wasn't, but we all know who he is. And again, I repeat, Israel did not sanction somebody who was so hateful towards Israel and Jewish people.
Hateful towards Israel deserves sanctions. You are talking here about a guy who has... Itamar Ben-Gvir is a Kahanist. He is involved with a movement that is akin to Nazism against Palestinians. It is he has turned Israel's prison system into torturous, monstrous things where people are sexually abused. He referred to Israeli soldiers who rape Palestinians as heroes. He did all these things. He has openly said some of the most heinous things, and he's actively done awful things against Palestinians. Whereas Jeremy Corbyn didn't set up a prison where Jewish people are specifically tortured intentionally, But that's what this guy is saying. She's making a comparison. But the whole UK media meltdown over this has been fucking hilarious.
People.
So here's this guy called Benjamin Butterworth, who I don't even know who he is. He's some fucking idiot journalist. We'll watch him next, because these are gold.
Not kidnap. Greta Thunberg and the 11 others knew they were never going to make it to Gaza.
Oh, sorry, this is about Greta, but we'll listen to it anyway.
But what they also knew was that they could whip up an incredible amount of rage. Israel did not kidnap her. It makes me sick to the bottom of my stomach that she uses the word kidnap. This is the indulgence of a narcissist who just wants continuing attention and...
This is the indulgence of a narcissist who just wants continued attention. This is, by the way, what this guy looks like. This is who is speaking here. Like, he's like, oh, I'm visiting the Nova Festival. It's so painful. Bro, you are here advocating for starving 2 million people. Nothing on October the 7th compares to that. Nothing. There's no footage. There's no images. Israel's violence since October the 7th is incomparable to to October the 7th. But even before that, the state of Israel enforced an illegal blockade that enacted violence against every single Palestinian that you could possibly existing within the occupied territories, and also Israel proper. They were denied the same rights. They were targeted on the basis of their ethnicity, subjected to different laws. And you sit here and you go, yes, I've just seen the Nova Festival. You couldn't even comprehend by just going and seeing the West Bank to understand the microcosm, the way in which Palestinians' lives are so deeply affected by this. And I'm sorry, it is ridiculous to sit there and be like, oh, you have to go and see this thing, you have to watch the footage, or else it's not okay.
Anger. Benjamin, you've seen some of those selfies from the IDF soldiers, haven't you?
Well, I'm aware of them. I must...
Oh yeah, by the way, he's talking about Israeli soldiers here taking selfies of them killing Palestinians, using them as human shields, and listen to what he says.
I've seen them over the time, yes.
Is that narcissistic?
Well, I mean, what I would say is, can I just say that, first of all, I think people photographing what they're doing as they're trying to protect their country is not the central issue here. No Jews, no news, because people love to hate the Jewish state. The fact that there are more...
I think people photographing themselves protecting their country. Listen to this guy. These people are deranged. Genuinely, this is deranged.
More people starving in Sudan. The fact that
there are more people starving in Sudan. What with the support of Israel and its Western allies who have continually protected the UAE that starved them? Honestly, shut up. These are the people who have enabled the genocide in Gaza, these Western nations. And then you go, well, what about Sudan? And it's yeah, we want to live in a more just world. Why do you think we are focusing on Palestine? Look at these guys' tweets. A ceasefire would empower terrorists and ensure health for Palestinians and Israelis alike. This was on the 15th of November 2013. Why does Hamas put its bases in hospitals? Like, there's no proof of that. Even the proof, Israel's tunnel video from the other day was not that.
500,000 people have died in Yemen. Ask yourself why.
500,000 people have died in Yemen with the support of Western nations. America refueled their planes, trained Saudi pilots, let them starve them. It is such bullshit to sit there and go, well, you know, why don't you focus on these things? It's all interconnected. This is literally what Greta was talking about yesterday.
Those atrocities don't get any questions, but constantly Israel defending itself after a ceasefire was broken on the...
You know, even his profile picture looked better than that. Look at this guy, man. Like, I'm sorry, like, I have no sympathy for him. Like, at all. Like, say, like, this guy, like, he's literally here, like, explaining why Israeli soldiers should be allowed to take photos of them using Palestinians as human shields. 2023, sorry, yeah, not 2013,
the 7th of October.
This is the kind of shit they say, no Jews, no news. Notice how people suddenly focus on Sudan. Exactly. Thank you, Kaplan. But these people just don't care. Like, they don't care about Sudan. It's just a fucking talking point for them. Because Sudan is interlinked with Israel. Israel holds up its relationship with the UAE as a future, like a positive, amazing future for the UAE. They are doing this. They are involved in they are the key backers of the genocide in Sudan. And yet people like this bring it up.
By terrorists more evil than we can care to imagine.
By terrorists more evil than we can care to imagine. It's so ridiculous.
That is what we all attack, and that is wrong. Because we in the West do not have to put up with the threat that people in Israel, where I am in Jerusalem, have to put up with every single day, and they have a right to defend their land.
452 aid workers have been killed by Israel in Gaza. 452.
And let me tell you, these numbers come from Hamas. Let me point something out.
They don't come from Hamas. This guy is deranged.
Journalists in Gaza, Gazans who are working as so-called journalists, they're not journalists.
Israel
criticizes
has
Hamas.
over 165 journalists in Gaza.
Excuse me, I live in Jerusalem. I get to live in the apartheid state.
Excuse me. No.
Listen to his voice.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
No, and where's that figure come from? It comes from the so-called Gaza Health Ministry, which is a Hamas property.
Hamas. I live in Israel, so I say Hamas. I challenge any of these morons to come on to come and talk to me, to invite me on their shows, to have a discussion with me. I'm not so
propaganda tool.
Benjamin, do you accept that actual journalists have been killed in Gaza?
Well, you can't be a journalist in Gaza because Hamas will kill you if you say something.
Hamas will kill Israel. I love it. Hamas will kill you. Hamas will kill you. No, you've just been told Israel kills you.
Thing that does not agree with Hamas.
Well, we
excuse me.
Can't be a journalist in Gaza at all because Israel won't let us in to do any reporting.
Yeah, like this is like just every single person like this, every single Zionist propagandist is so entitled, and he's just posting like Louai Ahmed as if he...
The Arab League and everyone who has been raising the Palestinian flag since October 7. Where is the flag of Yemen? In my country, 500,000 people have died in the last 10 years.
Who killed them? Like allies of Israel. Fucking idiot.
The biggest famine and humanitarian crisis in modern history. Why does no one care when 500,000 Yemenis die?
Great question. Because they were killed with the support of the West.
What about Sudan? In less than 2 years, more than 150,000 people have been killed. Where is the flag of Sudan? What about Syria? 500,000 Syrians have been killed. Where is the Syrian...
Over 14 years. Israel has done this over less than 2 years.
Flag. High Commissioner, why is it that when Arabs...
I'm gonna have to turn this off because it's got music on. But yeah, like it's just... Oh God, just listening to people talk about this. Yeah. Hamas forces Israel to kill reporters. Yeah, you're completely right about that. Hamas is the one just forcing the killing of... No,
Matt, the reason it happened... on a daily basis is that the Hamas is a genocidal terror organization that actually...
Anti-Semitism. I began by...
So this is Channel 4.
I spoke to Michal Kotler-Wunsch, who's been appointed by the Israeli Foreign Ministry as special envoy for combating anti-Semitism.
The UAE aren't even Muslims. Like, the UAE have captured state Islam, and they weaponize it sometimes, but they've basically banned any independent Islam in their countries because they're an authoritarian shithole that sells themselves as this wonderful, look at us, we've got nice skyscrapers and we sell cool chocolate. It's all bullshit. They're a murderous, enslaving regime who have killed so many people.
I began by asking her about the latest attack on an aid distribution point in Gaza, and why did she think this continued on an almost daily basis?
So this is on, I thought he was talking to her about sanctions. Hold on.
The strip, he said, and I quote, will be totally Smotrich, the fact
that were utilized, but I didn't see democratic or except that
and serious abuses of Palestinian human language sanctions, and they were sanctions imposed by our
has used its civilians as human shields and sacrifices, and aided and abetted by international distribution agencies such as UNRWA, has actually been directly helped.
Okay, well, let's talk about the sanctions imposed by our government against two of your government ministers. What's your reaction to those sanctions? And they were, basically they were imposed. Foreign Secretary said today, David Lammy, that their language has been monstrous. That's the quote from him. Inciting violence and serious abuses of Palestinian human rights. Your reaction, please.
Well, from my understanding of the State of Israel as a sovereign democracy, and I would expect the...
it's just slop. It's just going, we're a democracy, so we can do whatever we want.
UK is a sovereign democracy to treat it as such. The sanctioning of freely elected sitting ministers in a government with whom I may vehemently oppose but respect democracy is actually to be condemned by all who cherish democracies.
Governments are free to criticize other governments, and governments are free to impose sanctions on other governments.
Yeah, I think we do have to admit that the thing is that the UAE built a big building, so that makes all of it good. You know, the blood money makes it all okay.
It happens all the time.
Sure, except that this is not criticism, and as you stated, it is actually sanctioning on two sitting ministers in a democratic fellow democracy country, the only democracy in the Middle East.
What did she just say?
The sanctioning on two sitting ministers in a democratic fellow democracy country.
In a democratic fellow democracy country.
The only democracy in the Middle East.
The only democracy in the Middle East.
I know of. And you mentioned some of the words that were utilized, but I didn't see what it is that was regarded as incitement. I would like to see it so that we can ensure that the UK actually holds to account other ministers or senior officials of other countries, and holds to account its own senior officials and ministers when they do overstep and use those words of incitement, whatever it is that they may be.
So Mr. Smotrich, the finance minister, said the West Bank will be annexed by will be annexed by Israel. Palestinians will be totally despairing in the Gaza Strip. And the Gaza Strip, he said, and I quote, will be totally destroyed so that they leave the Gaza Strip and move somewhere else.
But as I said, I can vehemently oppose, as I do.
I can vehemently oppose the Nazi government. I vehemently oppose them, but I work for them. Okay? It's just a job, bro. What you have to understand about the Nazis is I vehemently oppose all the stuff they're doing, but I work for them. Western values, yeah, Western values as witnessed by Native Americans. Yeah, you're completely... This is what civilization looks like.
The statements made by those and other ministers.
Right.
But the point is the principle. A democratically elected government, the UK is no longer colonizing the Middle East. The State of Israel is an independent, sovereign...
Well, when we colonized the Middle East, we made this fucking horror show in Palestine and created this state. So, be a bit more grateful, please. If you're going to colonize in the modern era and continue on the British colonial legacy, you better be grateful to us.
State. It is a democracy like all other democracies. And if we do not understand that it is democracy that is under attack by what is a rising axis of evil and its genocidal terror proxies, and that statements that actually then ban the democracies that are defending themselves from an openly declared intent to annihilate them, embolden that genocidal intent.
But I wonder if it's equally unacceptable for Mr. Smotrich, the finance minister, to say, as he did before October the 7th, that Palestinians have three choices. They can either leave the occupied territories, they can die, or they can live as second-class citizens in a greater Israel. Is that acceptable?
You can keep quoting individuals with whom I may and I do vehemently disagree, but that does not...
He's your fucking finance minister. You can't really just disagree with him, can you?
...represent... But
yeah, it's like they just bang their hands on the table and go, it's a democracy! We can do whatever we want because we nominally cling to the idea of democracy! We have apartheid in the West. This is also the shit that people do. They're like, yeah, well, Israel's a democracy. I don't like what goes on in the West Bank and Gaza, but Israel's a democracy, right? It's like, what the fuck do you mean? Israel is doing those things. The thing that you call a democracy is doing that.
But the point of this is, and that is...
The point of this is to sanction members of your government.
It's not about criticism. This is about sanctioning freely elected ministers in a democratic state that is meant to be an ally. And if we're going to apply this principle, we have to apply it equally across the board. That means we should be applying it not just to democracies, but to non-democracies with whom the UK seems to have no problem.
Brilliant! Great idea! Fucking sanction these dictators who are in the leagues of Israel.
Dealing with, such as Qatar, such as Turkey, such as many others.
I mean...
Qatar, Turkey, well, who cares? These countries have all collaborated with Israel. Sanction them if you want. But we're not giving them, like, unlimited weaponry. And whatever Qatar does, it's not doing genocide right now.
You don't agree with what they're saying. There are many Israelis, I've met them, who really
that
don't like what they...
Matt.
Let me finish my question. They don't like what these people stand for. The only reason why you're putting up with them is because they keep Netanyahu in power. They keep the coalition afloat.
Matt, this is a democracy. We have a parliamentary system, as you do. Israel is a democracy. It's a sovereign country. It will continue to fight for its defense. It will continue to do so according to international law and the highest standards of international law.
What did you just say?
It's a sovereign country. It will continue to fight for its defense. It will continue to do so according to international law and the...
It's actually just mad when you just go, yeah, it's we continue to hold to international law. Like, you have ignored the International Criminal Court, the International Court of Justice.
Highest standards of international laws.
This is someone whose job is apparently fighting anti-Semitism. Can you see why anti-Semitism, you know, people might like, why anti-Semitism may not be being dealt with in any capacity? Because people don't care about genuine anti-Semitism or anything. Yeah, like, this is all they care about is fucking just genocide and supporting it.
Of war, and it will defend itself and continue to represent not only the fight against this genocidal terror organizations, their proxies, and the states from which they have absolutely undermined the human rights of the people in Yemen, in Lebanon, in Gaza itself, as in Iran. And therefore, we will continue to be on the front lines of this war with hope that we do have allies around the world that understand.
Jesus Christ, like, it's just... this slop world is just unbelievable. It's like two Israeli ministers who are like unequivocally pro-genocide get called out for the genocide that they're doing. And then this is what you get, like crybabies, like ministers who fight anti-Semitism doing this. Like, what? This is it. Hey everyone, hello Freud's hot mum. Iran is so far away from Pisrael though. Israel talking about human rights. Your moustache looks excellent, by the way. Thank you. It's been growing for like 2 weeks now. It's growing pretty well. Slop hogs feeling good. Yeah, I mean, if you're a Zionist, the amount of slop that you get to consume. Wow. The pro-Israel fans are getting fat on slop right now. Pure slop everywhere. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But yeah, it's just like, have you ever played that game? Yeah, we played it, and I disappointed myself. I got 14 out of 20, but I previously got 17 out of 20. But I fucked it up this time. I thought too much. I was trying to impress you all. Right. So, what was I wanted to talk about? There was something that I wanted to watch. Hold on, let me look through it. Oh yeah, let's talk about Greta.
Take a listen to what she has to say. Is speaking to reporters. Let's take a listen to what she has to say.
On international waters, we were illegally
Say Mambo number 5. No Mango number 5 at all.
attacked and kidnapped by Israel and taken against our will to Israel, where we were detained, and then some of us deported. Some are still there. There are.
Well, so someone said that apparently, this, apparently they were all kept awake intentionally, and if you look at Greta, she looks like she hasn't slept.
Very big uncertainties because it was quite chaotic and uncertain, so I don't really know what's going on. I haven't had a phone for many days, and
What were the conditions for you over the last few hours?
They were absolutely nothing compared to what people are going through in Palestine, especially Gaza right now. And this is yet another...
No, she didn't have to watch the October the 7th video because they all had a fucking meltdown because she didn't watch the October the 7th video.
A violation of international rights, adding to the list of countless of such, especially towards Palestinians, that Israel are committing by blocking and preventing.
In fact, there was a hilarious meltdown that I can't see because the guy blocked me. Here you go. I can see
sustain a worldview like Greta Thunberg has if you keep yourself away from reality. As soon as you're in touch with actual real people and real suffering and the reality on the ground, you just can't sustain that idea.
This guy is such a fucking... He edits the Jewish Chronicle and he is such a genocidal maniac.
Logical way of seeing things.
And because he claims here that, the reason that Greta Thunberg won't watch it is because it would undermine her worldview. It's like, what do you think? Do you think that she thinks that, like, resistance is like, Israel and nothing violent ever happens and, like, they never committed any war crimes and it's, like, magical, wonderful things? No! But what she does see is, like, what's happening in Gaza is so much larger. But you're right, she does never miss. She is right.
Unfortunately, the latest news I'm hearing from Israel is that she and her compadres have refused to watch that footage. And of course, the brutal Israelis have no way of forcing them to watch it if they really don't want to.
Yeah, because they're citizens from other countries.
So she's keeping herself insulated from the actual facts over which she purports to have such passions. And the whole thing is it just really drives home that this sort of activism is not really about the real people. It's not about the real Palestinians or the real Israelis. You can see that by how she's cosplaying on our screens at the moment, culturally appropriating the Palestinian keffiyeh. She wouldn't do that with a Mexican sombrero, but
this guy, like, culturally appropriating. It's like when Ethan Klein starts speaking in fucking therapy speak. It is such a joke. It is such a joke. Like, it is honestly the world's biggest joke. Like, she's doing cultural appropriation. No, she's showing fucking solidarity. If she was wearing a Mexican sombrero because it was a symbol of resistance against the state of Israel. But, like, yeah, you're right. This guy's fucking awful.
She's doing it with a keffiyeh. Right. It's not about them. It's not about the reality. It's about herself. It's about how much she loathes her teachers, the establishment, and the West. And look, the Israelis...
It's about how much she knows her teachers, her establishment. What is there to love about this? We've just been complicit in a genocide.
They're trying to do us all a favour by educating her a little bit, but this isn't the first time she's refused free education, as we know. You can only...
She's refused free education. I'm here with my friend Mike, who thought, as someone put in the chat, that you could grow concrete. I'm just trying to see if I can find this. Because there's definitely a longer version.
You're satisfied that Hamas...
Oh, Jesus Christ. This guy is just deranged. This guy is deranged. I've been beefing him for ages and then he blocked me. This is what I posted. Jake Wallace Simons when someone doesn't say the exact Zionist propaganda he wants. That's a funny tweet. I like that. It only got 20 likes.
Humanitarian aid from entering Gaza, that is illegal.
Oh, also, listen to this guy.
The brutality has been horrific. Babies beheaded and corpses mutilated, women raped, children raped, families.
Children? Like, listen to this. This is the guy who's like, you've got to watch the October the 7th footage.
Gunned down in their bomb shelters. The brutality has been horrific.
If she watched and didn't transform, it would still be bad. Exactly. If she watched it and went like, okay, this doesn't compare to what's happening in Gaza, and formulated any kind of opinion on it, it's like, what?
Babies beheaded and corpses mutilated, women raped, children raped, families gunned down.
And thank you so much for the donation. Thank you for helping to make this all possible.
How did the Israelis treat you? We saw them giving out sandwiches on their social media. How did they?
Yeah, they probably have posted lots of PR stunt videos. As I said, I have not seen anything, but they did an illegal act by kidnapping us on international waters and against our will, bringing us to Israel, keeping us in the bottom of the boat, not letting us getting out, and so on. But that is not the real story here. The real story is that there is a genocide going on in Gaza and a systematic starvation following the siege and blockade now, which is leading to food, medicine, water that are desperately needed to get into Gaza is prevented from doing so. But of course there are many attempts like this mission, both by sea and land, to break that siege and open up a humanitarian corridor.
Could I ask you, you said you had no contact at all with any of your other colleagues from the boat when you were detained? Is that what you said?
No, that's not what I said. I was just mainly speaking. I don't really know what's going on because
you don't know what's going on with the others.
Are you worried about?
I wasn't able to say goodbye.
Are you worried about the others? That they might be detained for
Yeah, I'm very worried about them. We heard.
As I said on Twitter, I feel so sorry for Greta. First of all, she was kidnapped, and then second of all, she has to go to fucking Tel Aviv and go on an Israeli plane. Can you imagine that? You're surrounded by fucking Israelis. It must be awful. I hope she's okay.
Many different messages pointing towards that they would not make it easy. And there were troubles with being able to see lawyers. So I'm very much calling for their immediate release and calling for everyone who can to mobilize to their governments and other ways to demand their immediate release. And of course to demand not only humanitarian aid being let into Gaza, but also a ceasefire, but most importantly an end to the occupation and an end to the systemic oppression and violence that Palestinians are facing on an everyday basis.
Are you disappointed you didn't manage to break the blockade?
I don't know if disappointed is the right word. This is a continued violation of international law and war crimes that Israel are systematically committing against Palestinians by not letting aid come in, by starving people and mass slaughtering in every possible way during a live-streamed, full-blown genocide that the world is watching.
How do you feel about European governments and their position and what they're doing and not doing?
Yeah, both in our case, their silence was complicity with Israel's illegal actions, but most importantly, their complicity in the genocide that's going on now by sending aid, by sending military and financial support to Israel.
She's right, like, it's an act of protest, and for all of these people, like, we had a much longer discussion about this on Monday, of, like, all these people like, oh, you didn't succeed in doing it, it was a PR stunt. It was like, no, it's not. It brought loads of attention to what's happening in the Gaza Strip, and it's just like, yeah, it's just like people who are sat there and they can say whatever they want, but, you know, it doesn't matter if they didn't succeed. They are moving towards attempting to blockade, and hopefully it sparks a much larger movement, which seemingly is already in the works.
They are also part of the killings of Palestinians.
There's a conference coming up at the UN. France is thinking of recognizing the state of Palestine. How do you feel about that?
It's the very, very bare minimum. Of course, welcome, but we need so much more than that. When there's even a risk of genocide happening, we have a duty to prevent that from happening. And right now we are so far gone beyond that stage. It is there are no words to describe the betrayal that is happening every day by...
Yeah, I've seen, like, some of these Greta deepfake videos. I'll show you them. They're so fucking weird. Some of the most unimaginably weird shit that you could think of.
By our own governments.
You were made the choice. You were offered the choice to return straight away, or for leaving Israel. Can you tell us? You chose to leave Israel straight away. We've been told that people were forced to sign papers in which they recognised that they'd entered the country illegally. Did that happen for you?
I did not recognise that I entered the country illegally. I made it very clear in my testimony that we were kidnapped on international waters and brought there against our own will into Israel.
What did Israeli authorities say to you? What did Israeli authorities say were the reasons for your detention and arrest?
Many different things.
So this is the Al Jazeera journalist Omar Fayyad. Omar Fayyad or Fayyad? Fayyad, I don't know. What did Henry Chatwin say? All their messages have been questionable. They can probably stay hidden. Who did you hide? I mean, if you're all agreeing, I don't really care. You can do it. But yeah, you can do it. I trust you. Whatever happened with the North African refugees they picked up? I can't remember what happened with the North African refugees. But yeah, so this is what Omar Al-Fayyad said. He said that they were they wouldn't let Greta rest her head against a wall, saying it is forbidden for her to sleep. They would barge in and make it impossible for any of the volunteers to rest for 3 days. They then also threatened Rima Hassan with actual violence, saying that her head will be hit against the wall if she refused to sign deportation papers. Rima is still in the occupier prison. Demand the release of the remaining 8 volunteers. I mean, it's believable. It's fucking believable.
Well, depends on what you're referring to. Yeah, I did not sign that. Why would I? This was a mission of trying to, once again, the Freedom Flotilla Coalition has been continuously sending boats aiming to break the siege and open up a humanitarian corridor since 2008. And this was one of those missions. And right now, more important than ever, because of the siege and because of the systematic starvation of over 2 million people and the full-blown live-stream genocide, this was a mission of attempting to once again bring aid to Gaza, which is desperately needed, but also to send solidarity and say that we see you, we see what is happening, and we cannot accept just witnessing all this and doing nothing. That can never be an option. I'm terrified at seeing how this extremely deadly passivity and silence is all over the world, leading to so many deaths.
Your opponents and Israel accuse you of moral grandstanding.
Can you elaborate?
That you're doing this to the cameras, for the effect.
Well, that is very ironic coming from them, since you just described them doing the PR stunt of them handing out sandwiches or whatever. But
she's right. I mean, they're the ones who literally took photos and selfies and stuff.
This is our last boat that we were attempting to go on this mission with a month ago. Was a much larger boat with, of course, could fill much more aid. That was bombed twice, and all the evidence strongly points towards Israel. So we made this trip with a smaller boat and a smaller crew because that's all that we had, because they bombed the last boat. And as I said, this is about bringing...
Do you think there was sanctions are meant to stand in for our participation with... I don't care. I don't think recognising a Palestinian state matters at all. I don't think recognising a Palestinian state matters at all. So she responded basically asking, oh, was this just a PR stunt? Obviously, that was not exactly what was asked, but what she was asked is basically... why did you do this with the cameras on, basically?
As much humanitarian aid as we possibly could, while also sending a message of solidarity and hope, telling Palestinians that we stand behind you in this struggle, and we are joining the global uprising of people demanding an end to the oppression and decolonization, not just in the metaphor. So that's... Huh? As I said, the other boat was bombed.
Are you going to try this again? In days and weeks to come?
As you can see, I'm desperately in need of a shower and sleep. But what is certain is that we will not stop.
Yeah, it does look like she hasn't slept. I don't know if Jake Wallace-Simons did leave his role as the editor. I've seen you've posted that a few times. I kept meaning to look it up. Oh, he stepped down to work on writing books, allegedly. I mean, I cannot imagine what shite this man is writing, so that's a fucking curse to the world.
We are going to continue to try to...
It's not just sanctions that what is needed. You need a lot more than sanctions. You need to take, unequivocal acts against the state of Israel.
Do everything we can, because...
I'm talking about, everything gone from Israel. We shouldn't have any relationship with the state of Israel.
That is the promise that we have given to Palestinians, that we are going to try every single day, in every way that we can, keep trying to demand an end to the atrocities that Israel is doing.
Will you try to break the blockade in some way again, by boat or another method?
There will be a march to Gaza happening in the coming week, I think, of people trying to come to the Rafah border, which is yet another attempt to break the siege. So this is definitely not the end. This is going to continue, of course.
I need to make a video about that video, what's happening there.
I don't, which is very worrying. because people were not being treated well. I was not able to say goodbye to people, and I don't know what's happening. And there were many issues.
When you say they're not treated well, what do you mean?
Well,
could you elaborate for us?
Obviously, in a very dehumanizing way. But of course, I have to stress nothing compared to what Palestinians are going through.
So can you give us some, what happened to you when you arrived in Ashdod port? I mean, were you taken off the boat? Was there any violence? Were you detained? How? Where?
No, I prefer not to go into details about that. We arrived there, we were detained, and then we were, yeah.
I don't know if you know, but Donald Trump commented about you being stopped in Ashdod. He said you're an angry young woman who needs anger management.
What did he?
Oh, she's talking about Trump here. So if you can't hear the statement, what he's asking is like, oh, what do you think about what Trump said about you being an angry young woman?
What did he say? I have no connection to anything, so I don't know what's happening.
Basically, he said that he was reacting to what he said about Israel capturing you. He said that this is not they've not been kidnapped. So Israel doesn't need that right now. And he said Greta Thunberg is, I quote, a young angry woman. She needs anger management sessions.
Well, I think the world needs a lot of more young angry women, to be honest, especially with everything going on right now. That's the thing we need most of.
You said, what do you gauge your success rate would be?
Sorry?
Was it a success? You feel this was
What do you gauge your success would be achieving what you wanted?
We were very well aware of the risks of going on this mission, and as I said before, there has been many previous flotillas on similar missions that have been either attacked, intercepted, or actually reaching Gaza. So, of course, the aim was to get to Gaza and to be able to distribute the humanitarian aid. We were 12 peaceful volunteers sailing on a civilian ship carrying humanitarian aid on international waters. We did not break laws. We did nothing wrong. The point is that whatever the odds are, we have to keep trying. Because right now, when you look at the state of the world, everything feels meaningless. But unless you try to do everything you can, that's when we lose our hope, no?
Yeah, she is right. Like, you can call her an angry young woman, but the truth is she is someone trying to make a positive change for the world. And I think you're right. It is a based quote, an incredibly based quote. And you're right, for not sleeping at all, she is doing incredibly well. I can't imagine talking to anyone when, after not sleeping, I'd just be like, leave me alone.
That's a bit unclear. I and some others signed saying that we wanted to go back as soon as we could, not accepting that we entered the country illegally. And some people did not sign that. We were held in also separate places for many amounts of time. So it's a bit unclear. And as I said, I haven't had contact. I wasn't able to talk or say goodbye. But I do know that there were major issues with people actually getting to talk to lawyers.
This doesn't surprise me. This does not surprise me at all. Yeah, I'm 24. She's 2 years younger than me. I need sleep.
Yeah. Huh? Why would I want to stay in Israeli prison more than necessary?
Why do you think so many countries, governments around the world are just ignoring what is happening in Gaza?
Because of racism. That's the simple answer, I would say.
This is her most base take, and she's completely... I think the only thing you could add to this is, hey, we need to maintain a status quo. Angry young women literally make history. Indeed, they do. Angry young people generally do. Angry people. It's always the moment of impossibility where people make change,
Racism and basically desperately trying to defend a destructive, deadly system that systematically puts short-term economic profit and to maximize geopolitical power over the well-being of humans and the planet.
That is incredibly well put for someone who's been asleep,
And right now it's very, very difficult to morally defend that. It is impossible, but still they are desperately trying, which is... absurd is not the word, but there are no words to describe it.
She is right. Clinging on to this system is so pointless. It's so clear how, the world is basically just supporting something that is wholly unpopular, that is totally unjustified, and should never be accepted as a normal status quo, and constantly clinging to it is just despicable. I mean, that's basically where it ends, but yeah. Her last few days have been incredibly based. I mean, just shout out to her. It's so funny that we live in a world where she's treated as some, mad individual who's a narcissist when, you hear her speak, she speaks with so much more clarity than someone like Piers Morgan. Also, by the way, this is not, the next section, but and I'm about to go on to something else, but, and that's more related to Greta, but this is fucking mad. I'm not sure many of people have seen this. So these are 8th graders from the Harkam Hillel Hebrew School in LA, who were taken on a trip to occupied Palestine and joined soldiers from the Givati Brigade for an evening of fun and genocidal militaristic indoctrination. Right, I'll just mute the music. I love it when the IOF soldier takes me to do terrible bench pressing. And terribly formed pull-ups. Bro, why is the IOF soldier not directing him to have better form? I wonder what they actually fucking post on this account. Hold on, I'm just looking at this account. I can't find it. But yeah, this is fucking mad. Like, you're just in the 8th grade and just going here for this insane... Going to Israel. Here, try some Palestinian food. No, this isn't PR. This is some kid going... This is some kids being taken on a trip to go and hang out with the state of Israel. Like, sorry, not even the state of Israel. Israeli fucking soldiers, so they can learn about how to do genocide. The Netanyahu youth. The genocide youth, I think, would be a better term. You're like, just like, yeah, like, you're with just people who are doing genocide. It's so fucking crazy, bro. And people will be like, Palestinians, here's this picture of a Palestinian child with a gun. And it's just ridiculous. Oh, this is weird. This is weird. Do you think this IOF soldier might have, like, why is he letting how old are you in 8th grade? Like, 12? Why is he letting this guy feed him? The healer youth. What? This is weird, you know. Yo, make some noise for killing Palestinians! Just Jesus Christ. You hear, we've seen 2 videos of this recently, of just, major indoctrination. But these are American kids going over to the state of Israel. These are American kids going over to feed Israeli soldiers to fuel the genocide. But don't you just find this weird? Like, you go to some religious school and I'm sorry, you don't let people in the UK who are go to Muslim schools go to fucking meet ISIS members, you know? So I feel like it's a bit of a double standard. You know, I feel like this is 2-tier Kia in America. It is fucking mad. They don't even look like they know how to have fun. It's just weird. Like the Givati Brigade. I bet you I can find you very quickly someone in the Givati Brigade doing something insane. Just look at this. The Givati Brigade has a dedicated bulldozer D9 unit, the very machines used to flatten entire neighbourhoods in Gaza. This brigade has been one of the most central and active ones. What's interesting, the commander of this unit, Netanel Raish, a former Gaza settler himself, in a letter to the Shin Bet, requested Israel Security Agency. This month, he requested the removal of a security clearance rejection for one of his soldiers, literally known as part of the Hilltop Youth Settler movement. Sorry, excuse me. He justifies the request by saying the soldier has already served with him and that he needs him back in Gaza. He's literally just got some terrorist that even the fucking Shin Bet are rejecting. And these are people who are allowed to, that their kids are being taken to. Let's just look at some more stuff. These are kids from America, bro, going over to meet people like this. This is the platoon commander wearing lingerie belonging to a Palestinian woman. Israeli officer Corporal Betzalel Lieberman from the Givati Special Operations Unit, now operating in Jabalia refugee camp, uploads a picture of him near Palestinians abducted, writing, "We have become the pursuers. Gaza will become a graveyard." We are here in Rafah. Wipe out the memory of Amalek. It has a substantial opposition towards nation of Israel. We need to use the tools of evil and blot it out. The Torah says that they must be blotted out until victory and settlement. An Israeli soldier from the Givati Brigade poses for a photo, sitting and jokingly smoking. Like, these are the people that their kids are with, bro. Like, never listen to the idea that Palestinians indoctrinate their children. When here, you need to destroy the neighborhood so that they can't come back there. Why to destroy? That's the mission. That's what I carry out. These are the words of fucking Israelis who are there. Each of these soldiers has their own story, but on the battlefield, they're all one family. The Givati Brigade. Jesus Christ. The slop world of Zionism is truly unbelievable. Like, where's the evidence? Exactly. There's so much fucking evidence. Yunus Turawi's Twitter is literally just a treasure trove of evidence of what's happened in Gaza. By the way, fuck. Hold on. No, that's not his name. Fuck. Mukhtar, that's it. That's who I'm looking for. But, by the way, Johanna just said, oh yeah, the Genocide Brigade. I think every single Israeli brigade is the Genocide Brigade. I don't think there's one specific Genocide Brigade. I'm sure that there's some that could be classified as worse than others, but, like, genuinely, yeah. Palestina.
Tack så mycket. Greta.
At least she got a nice welcome. Right, the final thing that I wanted to talk about is... Oh, actually, I wanted to watch this, the Piers Morgan, Francesca Albanese. And see, because this looked interesting, because this is related to it.
Actually believe. In a couple of minutes, I'll talk about all this with my panel. Well, first, I'm joined by the UN Special Rapporteur on the occupied Palestinian territories, Francesca Albanese. Welcome back to Uncensored, Francesca.
Thank you, Piers.
I just wanted to ask you, first of all, your reaction to what's been going on with Greta Thunberg. I've got to say, I have not been impressed.
No genocide. Johan, I'd love you to come up and explain why there's no genocide. You know, if you can explain to me why there is no genocide, I'll unhide you literally just for this purpose. I'll unhide you. Explain why there's no genocide in Gaza. Put in the chat why there's no genocide, and I'll listen to you.
Impressed by this. I think this was a very distracting piece of narcissistic attention-seeking by somebody with a track record for doing this, who then compared herself by using...
Go on, put in the chat why there's not a genocide. Just type out one short explanation why there's no genocide.
The words like kidnapped to the people who've actually been kidnapped in this war, which I thought was extremely distasteful. I know you've been talking to her, or some of the crew, certainly. What did we gain by this?
So first of all, thank you for having me, Piers. I hope we will have a peaceful conversation, because I've been up almost all night following what was happening to the flotilla and responding to journalists interested in knowing what was happening. I would like to reframe the whole discussion, if you allow me. So, because the flotilla mission was a lawful humanitarian effort, not a stunt. And because of this, we need to look at why they were there. and not who was there. As you know, Gaza has been starving. As you know, it's incredible, it's abominable that a country whose leaders are indicted or investigated by the ICC for atrocity crimes and who's been investigated as a state for genocide get to control the flows of aid. This is absolutely ludicrous. Aid should be given according to principles of humanity, neutrality, impartiality, and independence. Instead, Israel has turned this into a sadistic abattoir, as Chris Danis recently put it. So the flotilla...
I mean, like, 100%. Like, think about the context in which the flotilla happens. I think that this is an important part to add. One of the main things about this is the like, key reason that this has been fucking happening is... One of the key reasons that this has been happening, is because Israel has just been massacring more people through its aid, like, allowing aid in.
Has substituted the inept reaction of the international community, which has expressed words of condemnation at best. So what I think is that the flotilla, with all the people who were on board, is all but performative. And let me tell you why I think that people like Greta Thunberg or Rima Hassan came on board. Yesterday, I was not in touch with her. I've been in touch with...
The genocide denier guy gave up. He couldn't give an explanation why it's not a genocide. I'm sure he'd go because the population has gone up, but there's no proof of that.
Captain, because together with other special rapporteur peers, we have called for the support of the flotilla since the very beginning, because we think that the flotilla is doing, even if symbolically, what member states should be doing. But just a few weeks ago, another flotilla with anonymous activists was hit in international waters. It was probably a crime, and no one has uttered a word. And in 2010, 10 activists were killed, and no one has been held accountable despite a UN investigation. So people like Greta Thunberg and others.
No one has been held accountable because Israel just doesn't have an ability to. Well, no, my mod's muted you and then I unmuted you. You've been unmuted for ages. You can put in what you want. You're clearly unmuted. You can put in what you want.
Came on board using their visibility, putting everything in the line.
What have they achieved? Honestly, listen, I hear you, but what have they achieved, honestly, other than Greta Thunberg getting her face on a lot of newspapers, right?
Greta Thunberg's face was already everywhere. Like, Greta Thunberg can be everywhere she wants to be, like, honestly.
With a big beaming grin, receiving food. Let me finish. All I've seen are big pictures of her grinning her head off, receiving food at the end of her ordeal, which lasted a few hours. She knew exactly what was going to happen. She knew the IDF would not let her anywhere near Gaza. The whole thing is, I think you said, is performative. And I'm not seeing people running around going, good on Greta Thunberg. She's really changed my mind about what's happening there. They've all gone, hang on a sec, you're calling yourself a kidnap victim, and your kidnappers are giving you food and then taking you to a safe place afterwards. Why would you use that kind of analogy when actually the war is raging, as you know, because Israel...
He said it was a genocide a few days ago.
...is determined to kill...
He said that Israel...
terrorists and get their hostages.
This is why I say you just don't listen to this guy. Also, this Johanna guy, you literally said, you will prove it. You are not muted. You just haven't said anything. Is Morgan back to Zionism? Never wasn't, bro. Morgan has always been a Zionist.
Back, who actually were kidnapped.
I think you are the only one left who still believes the killing all Hamas terrorist peers. Frankly, Israel has such a...
I am sending and you are not seeing it. I have live chat on. You're not sending it.
That's what Israel is. I said that's what Israel has said it's trying to do. I've actually been. No, hang on. I've been very. Just to be clear, Francesca, I've been very critical of the Israeli government in the last week.
But you're still mentioning that Israel is killing terrorists.
I'm repeating their mission statement, which they said was to eradicate Hamas and get their terrorists and get their hostages back. Dry skin, deeper wrinkles, and.
I've actually got some dry skin, so we've got to watch this ad.
I didn't say that this is performative at all, rather the contrary. And the fact that you and I are...
Piers being a ghoul as usual. Thank you so much for the donation, but yeah, you're 100% correct. The guy's a fucking ghoul.
Speaking of this boat, while you have not been interviewing me about the other flotilla who was hit in the middle of international waters, and it was deflagged, which is an incredible violation of people's safe sailing and security when it happened a couple of weeks ago. It's people like, I'm not saying people like you, but the media is quite sensationalist, and it has been salivating around the fact that there was Greta Thunberg on the boat. I've never talked to Greta during the context of this mission. I've been talking to the captain and to the communication room on the ground because I was just interested.
He really needs to be platformed by Piers. I mean, Piers still defends genocide categorically. He is still a defender of genocide. He just changed because he wants more views. That is all this man cares about. He just cares about doing one interview that gets some more views, and that's it. He goes on and on about Greta Thunberg. This guy literally will say and do anything for views.
You know, Piers, people in Gaza are seriously starving as they are bombed every day without respite. 400 people are killed every day. And I've seen a glimpse of hope on the face of many because they were waiting for the flotilla. There should be more flotilla.
Come on, you don't believe that.
Come on, you don't believe that. It's like, it's like, look.
And then
you don't believe that. I'm sorry, Francesca. It's simply ridiculous to think that anyone in Gaza thought that this flotilla was actually going to get anywhere near them and give them any of the relatively meagre supplies they had. The only person who ended up being fed was Greta Thunberg by the IDF.
Oh my God, this man. You know what, Johannan? I don't know where you've gone, but you weren't able to explain why it wasn't a genocide.
How is that anything?
There is no killing of people for no reason and no intent to end a population. Prove me wrong. That's what it means, Dumbo. I mean, there is a clear intent to end a population. Israeli ministers openly speak about expelling people. The way in which they've conducted the genocide also is completely congruent with that. And morons like you who will bring up the ICJ ruling and go, well, the ICJ ruling, actually it didn't say Israel was doing genocide. Look at the provisional measures they issued and what those provisional measures said. Israel has failed every single provisional measure, every single one, by a humongous amount. So, like, you can't really claim otherwise. Like, it's so ridiculous. And no intent is truly an unbelievable thing to say. Like, I knew you wouldn't be able to defend it. I'll go with you on Discord. Okay, what's your Discord? Put your Discord in the chat.
But a painful embarrassment. And a stunt.
Do you really believe Israeli propaganda throwing sandwiches at them? Of course, the answer was give it to the people in Gaza. Come on, Piers. Come on. You're better than this, Piers. That sandwich was for propaganda.
I think you're better than this. I think you're better than this. The idea you think that anyone in Gaza... No, hang on, Francesca.
Nice Lotus. Okay, I'm not staying and debating you for like hours on end, though. I'll pull you up. If I gotta fucking add you on Discord. Ugh. Okay, right. Hold on, let me just work out how to add someone. How do I add... There you go. That's not even his username. Brilliant. So your name is not Nice Lotus. So what am I fucking looking for? What am I looking for? Like, I can't find it. Sorry, I missed your donation because I was... Speaking of, apparently it was a pastrami sandwich. Yeah, I don't think she ate the sandwich. Like, I just genuinely don't think... You put something in the chat and then now I can't find it. Can you send your Discord again? Because I've been trying to add it. No, but I just want to show you that no one can prove it's genocide. Give him the friend code. I don't know what my fucking friend code is, mate. I'm not giving out my friend code. Clown joining alert. Well, he didn't... your name is not Nice Lotus. I've literally just searched Nice Lotus on Discord. I'm not wasting much more time with this. There is no person called Nice Lotus on Discord that I can see. It's not a thing. It is not a thing at all. There is no Nice Lotus on Discord. It is not a thing. Double check the username is correct. You're just wasting my time now at this point.
Francesca.
Was scary.
Francesca, you do not believe for a moment, if you're honest, that anybody in Gaza genuinely thought Greta Thunberg was going to rock up on the beach with supplies. You knew that was never going to happen. Nobody in Gaza said to you, did they?
Hang on, I got to load up the Destiny subreddit.
think that's going to happen. Nobody did.
You clearly seem not to read my mind, Piers, thankfully. No, it's that you're wrong, because you keep on focusing on Greta Thunberg, while people like me and people I've been speaking with in Gaza didn't even pay attention. For them, what matters is that humanity has not forgotten them, is that there is someone who tries to break that awful siege that has turned their ghetto into an extermination camp, Piers. Again, I say, let's move away from the flotilla, because the flotilla, one thing is sure, has raised two important points. First is that member states are not doing enough. And
also, thank you all for the donations. He's neither nice or a lotus. No, I don't think he is. I don't think he is a lotus, unfortunately.
If there is something that is performative, is Western condemnation, including that.
You're right, Piers is insufferable, and he looks very strange as well.
Of the UK, because this boat was sailing with.
Right, I'm kind of done with listening to this, because it's just Piers being a fucking idiot and Francesca Albanese being smart. So apparently, this is a statement released by. This is a statement released by. He said it's Nice Lotus. I looked this up. It is not Nice Lotus. Hashtag 99999. She is spitting. But the wider thing I want to talk about is this. So this is apparently just been released by Egypt, which is saying regulatory controls for visiting border arrangements, named Nice Lotus, but who cares? I don't think bothers. Well, I can't find someone called Nice Lotus. I genuinely cannot find someone called Nice Lotus. It literally just comes up with nothing. Not like nice. It's telling me that username doesn't work, but I thought the Nice Lotus deserved more attention. But yeah, right, so apparently Egypt welcomes international and regional positions, both official and popular, supporting Palestinian rights, and rejecting the blockade, starvation and blatant systemic Israeli violations against the Palestinian people of the Gaza Strip. It affirms Egypt's continued effort of all levels to end the aggression on the Strip and the humanitarian catastrophe that has befallen the more than 2 million Palestinian brothers. In this context, in light of the requests and inquiries related to visits by foreign delegations to the border area adjacent to Israel, the city of Arish and the Rafah crossing, during the period to express support for Palestinian rights, Egypt stresses the need to obtain prior approval for these visits. So basically, people just can't protest. You have to have, you basically have to collaborate with a country that is ruled by a dictator who collaborates with the state of Israel. So if you're marching towards it, I don't think these can be anything significant. So I wonder what will happen with this aid convoy that's everyone is talking about, because you have to collaborate with Egypt. So yeah, it's hard to see something significant coming out of it, basically. Which is sad, you know. It's sad and ridiculous. Hasbara Lotus, who cares about this Lotus? Indeed, who cares about this Lotus guy? He doesn't even have Discord. He came on, said he could prove that there was no genocide, and then basically left. But after giving like a very, very shit explanation of why there's not a genocide. Maybe I should make a Discord though. Maybe that is a smart idea. I don't know. I don't know if I should make a Discord. I don't know whether that's clever or not. Right. Have I got anything left to talk about? Oh, yeah. There was another massacre today at the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Just look at these fucking images. They're despicable.
Read! Read shift left! Read shift left!
Someone said on Twitter that people would be incensed watching zoo animals being treated like this, but watching Palestinians, people just don't care. Like, this is just a situation that we've come to accept, that this is just okay. Like, this is... Look at these videos. This one's even fucking worse. Like, just look at that, man. Like, this was all predictable. It was known that this would end up happening, and yet, you know, we kind of, and yet it was allowed to happen by Western nations. And Ethan Klein shared a fucking endorsement of it. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Sorry, guys, I think I'm going to call the stream here just because I'm absolutely knackered. I will be live tomorrow. It might be slightly later than 5:30, but I will be live. I hope that you all have a good evening, and sorry to just end it a bit abruptly. I'm just feeling very, very tired. But yeah, I hope you all have a lovely rest of the evening. I'll probably upload a TikTok about this, but yeah, honestly, I am so tired. I'm really flagging, which is an oddity. I just went to bed too late last night. But yeah, I hope you all have a lovely rest of the day.